He's got it, wants to throw. Wentz looks, pressure comes. Wentz hit, sack, back inside the 20. Aiden Hutchinson, that's number 2.
What is going on, everyone? Happy Halloween out there. This is the Big D podcast where we talk all things Detroit sports. Back at it for episode 3 here on October 31st, 2023. A big day in sports today. Ben, any plans for Halloween?
I have no plans for Halloween at all besides figuring out if the Lions are going to trade for a defensive end in this goddamn trade
you're not
deadline.
Dress up as Dan Campbell and go door to door telling people that you're going to steal their candy. If not, you're going to bite their kneecaps off.
That would be a very good idea. Maybe next year.
A Dan Campbell costume.
Oh, speaking of the trade deadline, Packers, Rasul Douglas just got traded to the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, add some secondary for the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, we're recording this during the heat of the trade deadline, so we can kind of react to each trade. That's gonna be one little thing we do today, and praying the Lions do something with their defensive line. One also very important detail is there are no Detroit sports on today.
No.
What do we do?
I don't know.
What if there's no deadline? What would we do?
Dude, sit here and just contemplate
watch re-recordings of the 2011 wild card game and cry.
No. Well, I'll watch
rewatch the Tigers 1984 World Series.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. So last week we did a segment on NFL Pick Ems, and you're going to give us an update on the record. Let's where are we at?
I am. So the record for the NFL Pick Ems, Caleb ended the week with a better record and was...
Say that again? I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, Caleb ended the week with a better record at 12-4 on his picks. I ended up being at 11-5 for my picks. So it was one game.
One game.
I trusted the Packers, and why did I do that? Should have never.
I might bet against the Packers and Bears every week.
You know what? Wouldn't be a bad idea.
Any games stick out to you this week?
The Chiefs versus Broncos. 100% stuck out to me.
Have to talk about that one a little bit.
I've never the Broncos defense was dominant in that game. Chiefs did not score one touchdown.
We've been waiting for the Broncos defense to show up one week, and they picked the right week to do it.
Yeah, they did. Some of their stars just balled out. Pat Surtain balled out. Just a lot of that defense played very, very well against a very, very good Kansas City Chiefs team.
Just shut them down.
Just insane.
How much the weather had to do with it.
Yeah, I think the weather definitely had a lot to do with it. But what I've seen in past years, though, is that the Chiefs still play normally good in snowy conditions and stuff like that. I've never seen the Chiefs struggle that much, even in bad weather conditions.
Yeah, it was weird to see. I mean, they were kind of due for a down week, and I didn't think it was going to be against the Broncos, but it was, and here we are. So
yeah, I mean, the Broncos look good out there. They did. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird
especially
to say.
The defense.
But, yeah. Another game I wanted to point out was how we both took the team that had not won yet in the NFL to win this week, and the Panthers won. I really did too. They played the Texans, right?
Yeah, it was a really low scoring game, which I think everyone kind of expected.
Mm-hmm.
And the Panthers just pulled it out in the end.
Yeah, no, because they kicked a game. I don't end up watching that game, but didn't they kick a game winner at the end of it to win it?
I think it was a game winner, yeah.
I think it was a game-winning field goal right at the end to win it. But, yeah. And then another thing is, can we talk about Will Levis balling out on that in that Titans
legacy
game
right there.
Like
4
insane.
touchdowns, 270 yards, I think it was.
I thought it was only like 246.
All I know is he doubled Tannehill's lead or year-round total in touchdowns in one game. So
yeah, so I
think
heard,
he's the future there.
Yeah, from what I've seen is that he will be starting this Thursday night against the Steelers. He will be starting. So yeah.
I'll take that for a Thursday night game.
Titans Steel. Yeah, who knows?
Oh my lord,
dude! Some of the Thursday night games this week have just
be
not
6
been
to 3.
I don't know. The last Thursday night game that I said that would not be it was the Bears versus Commanders, and I watched DJ Moore drop like 422 yards and 17 touchdowns. I swear.
Facts. Maybe we'll see that out of D-Hop this week.
Yeah, I think those were
I wanted to mention the Giants-Jets game. And
oh
the
my god,
that one was the Giants. If you count sacks, had -8 passing yards. Like
yeah,
and they almost won. Like it was close. Like how do you? Like I still am not comprehending that. I know Saquon just got worked. I think he had like almost 40 carries. You might want to look that up. I'm pretty sure it was like 40 carries.
I can look that
which
up.
Is just unreal. 40 carries is ridiculous. Especially at a guy who has a lot of injury concern. You're just gonna work him for 40 carries. Like no wonder he gets hurt.
The only passes they were throwing at the end of the game were they were throwing screen passes to Saquon Barkley at the end of the game.
That's crazy.
Like it was stupid. I just don't understand. Like what I think,
especially in this era.
Yeah, they tried to. I don't even remember how many times they tried to pass. I think they only tried to pass like 10 times or something like that.
Was that the game with 15 punts in the first half?
Maybe.
I think that was that game, which is insane.
Can I just? Oh, I put week 8 sacks, not stats. That's why I'm not finding his carries.
You could just look up the Titans or the Giants box score. I could look that real quick too. But I'm pretty sure it was almost 40.
36 rushing attempts for 128 rushing yards on 3.6 yards per carry.
Jeez Louise. That's just working jeez, man. He got his paycheck and they said you're going to earn it.
Yeah, pretty much. So a stat that I saw earlier today was the Cowboys defense this season has more touchdowns that if you combine the Steelers and the Giants wide receiver core. I think it was the Giants.
That's not okay.
Yeah, it could be.
There's a division rival in there too, which is nuts.
It could be the Patriots, but I'm almost positive it was the Giants. I know it was the Steelers, but I'm almost positive it was the Giants for that second game or second team. So
yeah, that's nuts. I mean, like how does that even? That's props to the Cowboys defense. They've been unreal. They had another great week this week.
They did. Yes, they did. But I think those. Yeah. Oh, and then I wanted to give it a shout out to Kirk Cousins. Sucks that his season's over. He was.
Yeah, he's so
balling out this year.
Gets so much hate, but he's actually solid. Like he's solid.
It's. I mean, when you're putting up the offensive stats he is, but your team is losing the games that they are, it's just like. But no, Kirk Cousins was balling out this year before the injury, so sad to see him go down. Then there was a couple other.
He was like second. Is he second in passing right now? In yards? Yes, I
believe so.
He is second in yards with 2,331 right behind Tua. So I mean, he's above Mahomes, he's above Goff, he's above Josh Allen. So I mean, that's a pretty crazy spot to be in.
Yeah,
good for him. Sad to see him go though. And they just picked up their new quarterback, so
they did.
Josh Dobbs. We'll see how that goes, but it's kind of an interesting trade, I would say.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how Vikings do coming through the stretch with Joshua Dobbs as their quarterback. So who knows what will happen?
So I'm 12-5 or 12-4. You're 11-5.
Yep.
We'll keep that going in the next week. We'll do that.
Yes.
Thursday before the game, during the game, something like that. But we'll figure that out. Should be posted Friday for everyone to see. Next, we're going to talk about the Lions trade deadline. We're still waiting on something to happen. The Lions did just pick up Donovan Peoples-Jones for a 6th-round pick. DPJ's contract at $2.7 million this year, and it does expire at the end of the year, which is going to be the case for a lot of guys getting traded right now. They're all on expiring contracts, sort of rentals for these teams. They're giving up late-round picks for just a guy to have for the next 9 weeks. So, we'll see how that goes for the Lions. We'll do a live reaction too if they do something. But Donovan Peoples-Jones, what are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, I do like the pickup. I think he's gonna be. I think we're gonna switch him and Raymond out a lot, and I think it's gonna be nice to have another guy that's in there. That's just because Raymond, in my opinion, is just a speed guy that you're throwing short routes to. I think Donovan Peoples-Jones will become like another deep threat type wide receiver, like a Josh Reynolds type receiver, where it's just going to be consistency out of him. And I really do think that he will fit in well with the Detroit Lions team.
So let me hear your thoughts, right? The Lions just picked up a wide receiver. Didn't really think that we needed one.
Mm-mm.
Do we see one of them dealt in the next 15 minutes?
Honestly,
especially a Jamison Williams, who's been kind of on the selling end of that,
I think we could see one of them dealt, but the only one that I could see getting dealt is either Jamison Williams or Josh Reynolds at this point. I don't see
they're both on
Khalif
expiring.
getting dealt.
I don't know about JMO, but Josh Reynolds is on an expiring contract this year, so he would be
JMO is not. JMO's on his rookie deal still, so
I figure he's still on his rookie stuff. So yeah, pretty interesting. We'll see where that goes from there. But we're gonna break down their game yesterday. A complete and utter dominance in the stat sheet. The scores say a little bit less. We only won by 12 or something. But the stats just, oh my gosh. We're going to talk about the defense real quick, though. The defense allowed 157 total yards.
Yeah. After a game where we allowed the Baltimore Ravens to do whatever they wanted against us.
Over like 500, wasn't it? Something like that.
I don't know the exact yardage for the game, but it was something
I think
like
it was.
that, yeah.
Jimmy was 10. Jimmy Garoppolo was 10 for 21 passing. He was lost, dude. Like, give him a map, bro, because he just,
Dude. That fourth quarter, you saw
the frustration in Devonta Adams' face.
Yeah. The fourth quarter, you see Devonta Adams wide open. Like, when I saw Devonta Adams wide open over top of all of our safeties, and Jimmy Garoppolo just throws the worst ball ever.
Yeah, you're talking about that little post corner route?
Yeah.
Where he torched Cam Sutton so
yes.
bad. And then Jimmy G just overthrows him by like 10 yards.
Dude, and you can see the frustration out of Devonta Adams. Like, at the end of the game, he walked straight into the locker room. Like, he didn't even go and shake any of the Lions' hands. The utter frustration, which I don't blame him. No, Jimmy Garoppolo is acting like the worst starting quarterback in the league right now, in my opinion. I don't know if there's a worse starting quarterback. Will Levis has played one game this year. One game in the NFL, and I think he's already a better starting quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo.
That's unreal.
So,
he looks like it.
Yeah,
he's just Jimmy so Garoppolo inconsistent, and he just overthrows like everybody.
Yep. So
I can just see the frustration in Devonta Adams. Like,
you can see the frustration in all the receivers' faces. Like, even Jacoby Myers, it looks like, was frustrated at a couple points in yesterday's game.
Yeah.
And every ball that I was watching them throw, like, Devonta Adams had a drop, but the drop, it was behind him and low. Like, and there was really nobody in front of him there where, like, you want to put it in that spot. Like, you could have put it right on the numbers and it would have been fine. But it was just behind him and low. He had to, like, slow down. And it's just like, yes, it's a drop on Devonta Adams, but the quarterback situation just not helping it at all.
No, it's not. I would not be surprised if they do something here in the next 10, 15 minutes. I don't think they will, though, just based on what I've seen. I know they're not willing to move Devontae, which is unfortunate for him. He's so much talent going to waste there with that quarterback. He literally went to Las Vegas to play with Derek Carr.
And then they traded
That's the
Derek
reason
Carr.
he went. Yeah, and then they traded Derek Carr. It's like, what do you do? Like, that's a generational guy you got on your team because of your quarterback, and you're just going to give him away. Like, I just don't understand. Speaking of those frustrated Raiders receivers, they had 4 receptions, the receivers of the Raiders. That's unreal.
Yeah.
Sam Laporta had 6 by himself.
I was going to say, I don't know if I've ever seen a team wide receivers get less than 4 receptions, but I don't know if the Giants wide receivers got a single reception in the game they played against the Jets.
I don't know that. Yeah, I'm not sure. But I mean, it wasn't even that, like, it was, I don't know. Like, the catches to wide receivers, they didn't seem like that big. And then every other reception was to a running back or tight end, and it was just a little check down or a little dump off for like 0 to 5 yards. Like,
I mean, I think Michael Mayer had like a 20-yard reception at one point in the game.
Correct.
I think he had like a 20-yard reception at one point in the game, but I think that was their the biggest play of the game was that Michael Mayer reception. Like, almost positive that was it. I mean, I know Josh Jacobs didn't look horrible in the game. He had that one drive where he just dominated.
One drive where he ran down the field, yeah.
Like, literally just ran straight down the field, and they ended up scoring their first touchdown. But besides that was the only offensive touchdown. So.
Yeah, I mean, they just looked bad. Speaking of like that Josh Jacobs drive, it looked we were really missing Isaiah Buggs there on the D line, especially for the run help. With him being in there, he's just been dominant with the run D, and we clearly missed him this week, and in the pass rush too. However, McNeil did kind of step up. He looked pretty good, so I'll be excited.
Only McNeil looked really good.
I'll be excited to see him kind of come back and give Buggs a little break once in a while. But speaking of the defense and McNeil, right, 6 sacks for the Lions defense, 7 TFLs, and 9 quarterback hits. So that tells me that this week we got to the quarterback faster than we usually do. I feel like 9 quarterback hits is pretty typical, 9 to 10, but you don't see the 6 sacks, right? You see 3-4.
We don't even see 3-4 all the time from this team.
No, not from this team. No,
we have struggled on the pass rush this year, and I'm hoping in the next 10 minutes that we get somebody for the other side of the line to line up with Aiden Hutchinson. But we'll see. Also, speaking of NFC North news, Jalen Johnson, who was expected to be traded and was offered to seek a trade, is now not going to be traded by the Chicago Bears. So he is staying with the Chicago Bears.
I'm not surprised because the Bears literally bought earlier today. So, like, are they trying to contend?
I don't know. Like, you could see him try, like,
a second-round pick to Montez Sweat to, like, probably not make the playoffs and just lose him in free agency. Like,
yeah, I mean, you're gonna most likely, if you lose him in free agency, you're most likely gonna get a 3rd-round compensation pick for him. So you're getting a 3rd round, possibly. Yeah, I don't know exactly how compensation picks work, but like if you lose somebody in free agency, that's like a big name.
I know guy. I saw that with the Chase Young trade. I wasn't sure about the Montez.
Yeah. So I do not know for sure if they will get the 3rd-round compensation pick.
But that's crazy that they're just buying. Like, then that trade just didn't make sense to me. I looked at that and was like, Bears, what are you doing?
Yeah. So, and I mean, Montez Sweat went for a 2nd rounder, and then you saw Chase Young go for a 3rd rounder. The Bears overpaid once again at the trade deadline, just like they did last year with Chase Claypool for a 2nd-round pick. I mean, I'm not complaining. They're in the division. Let them mess up.
I love it.
But yeah.
So I got a question for you. Just a quick question about the Lions game. You watched it. I watched it. How many tackles do you think the Lions had total? and how many tackles you think the Raiders had total. Just throw a guess out there.
I don't even know how many average tackles are like in a normal like NFL game.
That's for you to figure out.
Now, okay, so I'm guessing Jacobs had around. Do sacks count as tackles? I believe they do, correct?
Oh, yeah.
So there's 6. Then they had 10 receptions, so most likely they got like 9 to 8 tackles off of those receptions because going out of bounds and stuff. So I'm going to say 8. So we're going to go. It's going to be 14.
5 seconds.
All right, I'm going to say like 27 tackles.
Okay, you're way off. The Lions had 43
is...
tackles.
Okay,
Lions had 43. How many do you think the Raiders had?
I mean, the time of possession in the game was way different. But, like, we drove down the field so fast in some of the... I'm going to say they had, like... I still think they're going to have, like, 58, 62.
Try 95. That's how much possession-wise the Lions just dominated this game.
Yeah, do you know what the time of possession was in the game? If not, I can look it up quick.
I don't have that on me.
Because I know that it
was like double, at least double.
Yeah. Let me I'm gonna look the time of possession up really quickly. It was 39 minutes and 33 seconds for the Lions, while the Raiders had 20 minutes and 27 seconds of possession.
Yeah, so literally almost double.
Almost double. Yeah.
That's insane. That's insane. At least double the tackles too, which is crazy. So let's go on to the offensive side of the ball. Goff, another insanely good game from Jared Goff. We love to see it. 26 for 37 passing for 272, a touchdown, and that ugly pick 6. That was disgusting.
Yeah.
He knew it. I knew it. Dan Campbell knew it, and they moved on.
I'm pretty sure when you look at the clip, it doesn't look like he's trying to hit a receiver there at all. It looks like he's just trying to throw the ball out of bounds, but he just did not get enough arc on the ball to throw that ball out of bounds. And Marcus Peters just easily picked off that ball, and it was just free to the end zone. Yeah.
It was either that he was trying to throw the ball and they get it out, or Amon Ra and him were just not on the same page, expecting a little outside route or like a comeback, and that just didn't happen. And Marcus Peters just looked at his eyes, grabbed it, and went for 7.
So another trade deadline thing. Nobody got traded, but the Patriots are no longer going to be trading Josh Hughes, Kyle Duggar, or Mike. I don't know how to say. I'm so bad with names, but yeah.
It's like you're talking about Mike Onwenu or whatever.
Yeah. And then
that's too bad. I would like to see Uche come to Detroit.
And they never got any calls on Mac Jones or Ezekiel Elliott. Are we surprised about those two?
No, we're not.
Like, you thought Mac Jones was going to go a call. He's looked horrible this year.
Yeah. So that Jared Goff pick 6, I think that kind of made Ben Johnson realize, hey, dude, let's just give Jameer and Josh Reynolds. Let me try that whole sentence again. I think Ben Johnson was just like, let's just give Jameer and Craig Reynolds the ball and just let him eat. Just let him eat. And that's what happened, right? Gibbs, 152 rushing yards, which almost beat the Raiders' total yards. Now, if you throw his receptions in there, he's got 189 total yards. So that's 37 reception yards for a touchdown. He single-handedly outdid the whole Raiders offense. He looked unreal. Like, this is
Jameer
the game.
Gibbs legacy
This is what we've been wanting to see.
Legacy
we wanted
game.
to get him touches. Whew. He's quick.
Dude,
he turns the corner like no other.
Dude, do you know what his average yard per carry was in the game?
No, but I can find that really quickly.
I have it pulled up. I was
5.
just asking
8.
if you knew what it was going to make you guess, but I guess not, man.
Oh, dude, I was a guess off the dome. 5.8.
Okay.
I did 152 divided by whatever how many carries he had that I don't know.
But an average of 5.8 yards per carry is absolutely insane. Elite by Jameer Gibbs last night against the Raiders. Insane.
Yeah, he's nasty. All right, Craig Reynolds, though. 74 rushing yards, 12 receiving yards for 86 scrimmage yards. That is a great game from Craig Reynolds.
Oh, yeah.
He looked good too. I mean, the thing is he's a little different than Monty and Jameer, right? He is almost like a little like bowling ball type running back. Like he's not built like one, but he runs like one. I mean, he's just going to go right up the middle and he's going to get tackled 3 times and he's going to roll forward for another one. And that's what he's going to do.
In the passing game, you're always going to see him lay blocks. Like you're always going to see this man
like
get out there and lay blocks. And even protecting the quarterback. Yeah. Okay. Do not look at it. But what do you think Craig Reynolds' average yards per carry was?
I didn't look at this. 74 rushes. He probably got like 10 to 12 touches. 8.
He was 14 carries for 74 yards with a 5.2 average.
Wow. Okay, so right around Gibbs too. That's awesome. Props to the
having
O-line too, then.
Having 2 running backs go for over 5 yards per carry is just insane. Versus any team.
Yeah, for sure. The O-line showed up for sure. Even with some bumps and bruises, they still showed up. I don't have Goff's sack numbers either. Did he ever get? I think he did get grabbed once or twice. He was grabbed.
He never
once,
got sacked.
He never got sacked.
Not from what I see. He never got sacked.
Oh no, he did get sacked one time. Nate Hobbs.
No, Amon-Ra St. Brown got sacked.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that. We're not going to talk about that play. That was interesting.
He had a wide open receiver. Like the play worked to perfection, and he just didn't throw him the ball.
It was perfect. And then
wide open.
Oh my gosh! But I would say Craig Reynolds is probably the best third string running back in the NFL, and you don't see third strings out there popping 84 scrimmage yards.
No, 86.
86.
But
sorry, my bad.
I'm still not gonna say Craig Reynolds is the best third. You got Cordero Patterson is out there. I understand he hasn't played much this year.
Reynolds.
I just love the guy. I do love Craig Reynolds.
Craig Reynolds is better than Bijan.
No.
Look at the numbers. I guarantee you Craig Reynolds' numbers are better. Which is just nuts.
For like yards per carry and stuff, or are you talking about
yards per? I bet I'm almost better if he has more total yards.
I know. There's no way.
It's probably closer than you'd expect.
God, at this point, Craig Reynolds might have more total yards than Tony Pollard on the Cowboys, though.
Yeah, that's not great for our entry, but
we don't talk about that.
Yeah,
so Bijan has 466 rushing yards on the year. Craig Reynolds has. Gotta go find Craig now. Craig Reynolds has 179.
All right, it's not as close as I thought. But do you have the average per carry?
Average per carry for Craig Reynolds is 4.4. Speaking of, I'm looking at team stats right now. I'm looking at team stats. Every single one of our running backs is averaging over 4 yards per carry, and Jahmyr Gibbs is averaging 5.3 per carry.
How's that stack up to other NFL running backs?
I have no idea.
Okay, I can look that up later. But yeah, I mean, I would.
Let me look. Yeah. Bijan, dude, I can't find the Falcons now.
Anyways, doesn't matter. I'm in love with him. I don't want him to go anywhere.
I don't want him to go either. Like,
I love that little guy, dude. He just fucking fights. He just fights.
Yeah.
Sam Laporta, 8 receptions, 57 yards, and a touchdown. Dude, the dude is just consistent. He is making his case for one of the best tight ends in the NFL, and it's no longer a fluke thing anymore. He is really good.
He just broke the Lions franchise records for most receptions by a tight end in their rookie year. And we're 8 weeks in.
What?
He just
Who does he have to
broke the
compete with? Brandon Pettigrew?
Eric Ebron, that wonderful
Oh my
draft
God.
pick.
I mean, I know we didn't really give TJ the ball a whole lot when we first drafted him.
No, his rookie season, TJ Hawkinson did not get that many receptions. I think TJ Hawkinson might have been first, but I honestly do not know for sure.
Tight end university, baby, coming out of Iowa. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 6 receptions, 108 yards. I put in my notes, give him a Slurpee because he's in the 7-Eleven tier. He's always open.
Dude, he's always open.
He's always open.
And the trade deadline is officially over. There was not as many trades as I thought was going to happen.
There was nothing.
There was, like, the biggest trade was probably Chase Young to the 49ers. Like, I mean, Douglas will be a good addition to the Bills, but...
Yeah, I'm sad to see the Lions not do anything. It would have been nice to even get a smaller guy like Uche. We didn't really need a Danielle Hunter or a or a Brian Burns, but would have been nice to see. But...
Yeah, I think my guess is the teams were just looking for too much. I'm assuming I trust Brad Holmes and what he's doing. If you look at if you look at past years and then look at since Brad Holmes has taken over, I'm gonna trust this guy with my life right now because he has turned this franchise around. And it's
you have to think
second
about
or
it.
third season.
Yeah, and think about it, if you look at the other deals that the teams were giving. So, like, the 49ers gave away a third-round pick.
Yeah.
At this point in the season, if the season were to end today, that's worth more than the Lions' third-round pick. Same for the Bears' second-round pick. Is that a second-round pick from the Lions is going to be worth way, way less than a Bears second-rounder?
Yep.
So you pretty much have to not only match the number, but also do better, which is hard to do without just putting another, like adding or increasing the different pick, like adding a new pick.
Exactly.
So it's hard for big teams to match smaller teams' offers if they're the same. Because you expect like the Bears to finish a lot lower than the Lions, and that pick be worth way more come draft time. So sad news about the Lions not picking a lot of people up, but cool to see we got DPJ. He's a Detroit native. He grew up in Detroit, so cool to have him back.
Went to the University of Michigan.
U of M guy. Yep, I'd love to see it. But yeah, too bad about the D line. You disappointed in that?
I'm disappointed, but when I was looking at it earlier this morning, and some of the guys that were left, like Max Crosby and Brian Burns, what I was looking at is that they were going to cost at least 1 first-round pick and possibly 2 first-round picks, or a first and a second.
Wow,
and honestly, I don't hate that we didn't make that trade then, because I just don't like Brian Burns and Max Crosby are both very, very good players, very good defensive ends, and Brian Burns is technically outside linebacker, but I
what
just
the difference
I don't
is?
think
I have no clue.
yeah, but I just didn't want to trade 2 first-rounders for one of those guys, or a first and a second. I don't think for one of those guys. So
that's a lot.
If those were the deals that they were trying to get out of them, I don't hate that we didn't trade for them, but I am disappointed that we did not get another edge.
Yeah, I'm not super disappointed, especially with the way the market seemed to play out. But yeah, we'll see. And we got some pass rushers last night, so Aaron Glenn threw a lot of different stuff out there. He was blitzing linebackers and safeties, and I kind of liked it. It was risky.
I mean, Tracy Walker ended up getting a sack.
Yeah, and Anzalone with 2. Like, what in the world?
Anzalone came off the edge. Like, oh no, he went up the middle for one, and then came off the edge for the other one.
Yeah, and the other thing is you see Jimmy G. I mean, he missed wide open passes. So you do that against a better team, it might not work as much. But if you mix that in once in a while, sprinkle it in, I'd love to see that.
And I mean, when you look at the Lions' schedule coming up the next 4 games, we play the Chargers, who have a very good offense, but their defense has just not been it this year. I know we play the Bears in there, we play the Packers in there, and then I think it's the Saints. I think it goes Chargers, Bears, Packers, Saints.
Okay.
So we have 2 division games in there. So, and I mean, we're going to be seeing Montez Sweat come off the edge against the Bears now, but I think we should be fine.
That is true.
I think we should be fine against the Bears. I think the hardest game in there will end up being the Chargers, but it's also coming right off of our bye week, and so we're going to be rested up. We're going to have some of our guys back. I believe David Montgomery will be back after the bye week. So yeah, I really do. I think there's a very good possibility we could win the next 4 games. So
for sure. I'd love to see that. I'd love to at least go 3-1. I think that'd be awesome. We're gonna talk a little bit more about the projections for these teams later in the episode. But first of all, tell me about the Red Wings, man.
So the Red Wings in the last couple of games, in the last 4 games, were 1-3. We have the one win was in overtime. We had 1 overtime loss, and we just had 2 losses. One thing I didn't get to watch much of the Red Wings game just because busy work, but
I watched last night's.
But what I've noticed on like the little bit that I have watched is our defense definitely needs to get some work to it. We have let up 3+ goals in 4 straight games, and the only game that it's pretty much 4+, but Islanders only scored 3 last night. But the 3 games before that, we were giving up 4+ goals per game. And I mean, we did play the Bruins, which are a top team in the NHL right now. But then one of them was against the Jets, who the Jets are not as good as a team. Then the other were against the Kraken, which I don't even know the Kraken's record right now, but I do not believe they're as good of a team either.
Both those guys are around 500, so not great, but they're decent opponents that you're probably going to split with once in a while, and hopefully we can bounce back from that.
Yeah, I'm glad we did bounce back against the Islanders too. That was a much needed win. And our offense was slowing down. We were only getting against the Bruins and the Jets. We only scored 1 goal. But one thing that I've noticed is that our second line has been playing well recently with Rasmussen, Veleno, Sprong, Gostis Bear, and Mata. They've been playing good. Like, they've been getting in there. Like, the first line has been incredible this year with DeBrincat, Larkin, Sider, forget the other defenseman in there, and then Raymond. But that first line's been playing very, very well this year. But the second line, like, has also played very well in these recent games. Like, against the Islanders last night, I think the second line ended up playing better offensively. No, Raymond had 1 last night, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Because we scored 4 last night. Raymond scored the overtime winner, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but I mean the 3 in the third period. I think those were all the second line, or
the 3 in the third period. I'm almost positive that it was all the second line. I can check that just to make sure.
No, I think it was, but anyway, it's the second line's been incredible. And that's what separates good teams from great teams, is having a good, second, third, and fourth line who can contribute and be efficient enough to where you're comfortable saying, "Hey, Larkin, take a breather, man. DeBrincat, you can use some rest real quick." And I'm glad to see it. I'd love to see DeBrincat and Larkin up there in the points column and in the scoring, the scoring summaries and stuff. But it's also cool to see these guys like Veleno and Sprong in there, what feels like every night.
Yeah. So, and even Gostis Bear, he's been in there a lot recently too. Like,
yeah, for sure.
I don't know if he still is, but I knew he was the leading defenseman on our team in points. So he's been in there offensively, very much so too. It was mostly our second and third line, and then our first line had Sider and Raymond were in there for one, but then it wasn't our first line defensemen that were in there.
Oh, okay.
I do not believe. So yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, good. I mean, good to see. So what do you kind of expect from them? What do they need to do to sort of bounce back and be that winning team that we saw in the first 2-3 weeks?
I think what they need to do is, I think our offense was very, very strong in those first couple of weeks. Our offense was very strong. Like, we were scoring a lot. And I think when it comes to this point where we're not going to be able to score as much, our defense just needs to get better. I think it's just our defensively, we just need to be better. We need to limit the penalties, keep players out of the box, and we just it's mainly, I'd rather see better defense than I would see better offense, in my opinion. I know it's going to make the game a little bit more boring.
2 or less goals a game.
But I would like to see us where we can win these games where we only score like 2 goals. I'd love to see us winning these games where we only score like 2 goals.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's move on to the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons got off to a hot start. I will admit, I got a little too excited, as I thought that they were really gonna, be something, and I was like, oh my gosh, 2-1, like one of the best teams in the league. We're gonna win the finals. I watched the Bulls game. We looked so good. So did Zach LaVine in the first 3 quarters, but whatever. We're not gonna talk about that. 50 bomb. But about that, and we'll get into that in a second, actually. But offensively, that game, I watched it, and we like just more sound, more fundamentally there, and I was excited to see it. So, talk about some Pistons stats so far this year. They're 4 games into the year. Like I said, 2-2. They're first in rebounds per game in the league. 50.8. That's incredible to see.
Yes.
Did I expect that ever? Absolutely not. Did I expect them to be above guys like the Nuggets and the Celtics? No, not a chance. But we are. And so I'm going to keep milking it as long as I can. Do I expect it to stay this way? No.
Nope.
Should we be top 5? No. Should we be top 10? Maybe, if our guys keep playing like they are.
Yeah.
I'll get into that in a second, but let's jump to offense real quick. 15th in points per game, middle of the pack. Well, we are 2-2, so I think that kind of makes sense. 3rd in assists with 29 a game. That's awesome to see.
Yes.
Especially, what I've noticed is it's our big guys that are getting assists too. It's not just our guards. Yeah. It's our big guys that are distributing.
It's everybody. See it. Besides Killian Hayes. Killian Hayes can just leave.
We will talk about him in a second. 3rd in offensive boards per game. Very similar to the rebounds per game. But this is just strictly offense. With 14.3. Our guys are fighting, man. Like, I watched a stretch there against the Bulls where Bagley was out there and Isaiah Stewart was out there, and they were just like, they kept like trying to do tip-ins, but they were just going like back and forth with each other. They kept missing the layup, but they kept like rebounding it and putting it back up. And I was like, dude, can you just put it in the basket, please?
Yeah.
Quit padding them offensive rebound stats. So I expect that to go down after a few games. 14th in field goal percentage, middle of the pack, kind of where I expect us to be. A little higher than I expect us to be, but
it is higher where I expected us to be. But
yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. And then 29th in turnovers. Yikes. 18.8 turnovers a game is what we're averaging. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's just not good. Like, I think we'd be...
No, dude, I thought it was awesome.
Dude, it's amazing, actually. Like, honestly, we're shooting for 30. We're shooting for 30th in the league.
Oh, yeah. For 30th. I was saying 30 turnovers a game. I'm like, all right. That'd be a new record.
No, but
we start giving Killian Hayes the ball more. That might.
I think if we don't have that many turnovers per game, we don't lose one of those 2 games that we lost.
Yeah,
I think we'd be 3-1 right now for sure.
I think that Thunder game too kind of killed us. It would have been a lot closer, but
yeah, I mean, I know we have a younger team. Younger guys tend to turn the ball over more. But yeah, I'd like to see 100% less turnovers by the Pistons in the future games.
Yeah, for sure. So let's jump to defense, which is where we have kind of showed out. 8th in points allowed. Now, before the Thunder game, I will admit, we were like 3rd or 4th.
Yeah.
So I had that on our notes here, and then the Thunder game bumped us up like 3 or 4 points a game, and we ended up jumping to 3rd or 4th. Or jumping from 3rd or 4th to 8th. Points allowed, 107. Would love to see that be below 105, especially if we want to win games. It's going to be with our defense, which is such a non-NBA thing to say, but it's true, especially with this team, is you're going to have to get scrappy, especially with the guys we got.
Yeah, 100%.
We should be able, if we're going to have a 500 level season, we have to have a top 10 defense because we're going to have a bottom 10 offense, I think. And so in order to balance it out, we had a top 10 defense. And right now we do. 8th in defensive boards per game puts us at 36.5 a game.
It's not bad.
I like it.
Like, I like it. I like how we're grabbing the rebounds. I'm still confused on how we're 3rd in offensive boards and 8th in defensive boards, but we're 1st overall. I mean,
that just means that there are teams who are really good at offensive boards and not good at defense. But yeah.
But no, the way that our big men have been rebounding the ball is insane.
Yeah, and we're going to get into that in a little bit in a second too. But here's the kicker. 3rd in blocks per game.
Huge.
With 7. That's a great. Third.
Yeah.
And our little guys, the average NBA center is 7 feet tall.
I mean, what? Jalen Duren is 19 years old. What? 0?
0. James Wiseman is 6'11". He's the tallest. No one else is 6'11". Jalen Duren 6'10".
Jalen Duren's still growing though. Jalen Duren is almost
younger
than me.
He's got to get his post high school growth spurt still. So.
Yeah,
that's a good point. All right, here's the kicker that I do not like to see, and this has to do with our guards, I think, and it's 30th in steals per game with 5.
That's rough.
5 steals per game, 1 per quarter, pretty much 1.25 per quarter. That's got to go up.
Yeah, 100%.
Guys like Shaden Sharp and Tatum and Victor Oladipo and those kind of guys, Donovan Mitchell, they grabbed 4 game by themselves.
Yeah,
like, dude, we got to get somebody.
We got
to get people in there.
We got to get people getting steals and
we need more
forcing turnovers. We need to start forcing more turnovers. 100%.
I think our guards just got to get up into people more, into their guys more. We saw that with Zach LaVine. He had 50 points by the third quarter, 49 by the third quarter. The fourth quarter, we finally decided to put Ausar Thompson on him and shut him down. Why we didn't do that earlier, I don't know. That'd be a question I'd have with Monty next time I see him. I'll ask him that question for you. So I'm gonna do a little trivia question for you. A little trivia question about individual stats now. The Pistons have 1 player in the top 20 of player efficiency rating. It's just the most efficient player with the guys that get their most bang for their buck with minutes. Who is it?
I have a feeling it's Jalen Duren.
I will tell you, Jalen Duren was in the top 20 before the Thunder game. He was, I think, around 14. I think he was 14. And then he jumped down. He had like 7 rebounds. Disappointing for my prize picks entry, but whatever.
Dude, then I don't know. Jaden Ivey struggled the first couple of games, so I don't feel like it's Jaden Ivey. I don't feel like it's Cade. Is it Cade? I don't feel like it is. Isaiah Stewart?
No.
Alec Burke?
Nope.
He
turns the ball over way too much.
That's a good point. I'm just gonna say
guess.
Marvin Bagley.
Marvin Bagley's number 11 in the
Oh,
league.
really?
With players,
dude, that's like the last player I almost expected to be besides Killian Hayes.
He's been really
Killian
good.
Hayes is probably the worst in the league for efficiency.
Well, we might talk about that in a second, and we will talk about that in a second. But Pistons big men have been unbelievable, starters and bench. Like we're talking about with Bagley, he's been unreal. Like dude who comes in and works, he just does. He
Yeah.
averages like 15 a game. Like I don't know how he does it. They grind and fight and seemingly just dominate the boards no matter who they play. We have 3 players in the top 25 of rebounds per game. Jalen Duren's number 5. He was number 1 before the Thunder game. He was number 1. He's number 5 now. Ausar Thompson has jumped up to 12th in the league for rebounds per game as a forward, like a small forward.
Insane.
And 25th is Isaiah Stewart with 9.3. So like I said, the average height of a center in the NBA is 7 foot tall. Those 3 guys, Jalen Duren is 6'10", Ausar Thompson is 6'6", and Isaiah Stewart's 6'8".
Dogs.
And those are your 3 your top guys. Obviously, you got guys like Luka up there in rebounds per game that are just gonna hustle for the triple doubles and stuff. But it's cool to see these guys who aren't really necessarily playmakers up there. And another thing to talk about with big guys is they're 8th in points allowed in the paint with 45.
That's huge.
Per game.
That's huge.
I'm not gonna lie, it was like 3rd until the Thunder game. The Thunder had over 50, so would like to see that get back down. Yeah, that's just not what I expect from the Thunder either. I thought that we would beat them in the paint, but they clearly got us there. So looking for a bounce back from the bigs.
And honestly, I felt like Jalen Duren is very good, but just knowing how young most of our bigs are, and knowing the bigs that we have going up against some of these other bigs in the league, I didn't expect us to be even top 10. Or I don't even know if I expected us to be a top 15 team in the league for points allowed in the paint. I figured a lot of the points you'd give up would be from the paint, but it's just not.
Yeah, it's good to see those guys fighting and eating. Now on to the Pistons guards. We got to figure out who fits this rotation the best. I put in here Killian Hayes looks like he needs to join Dwight Howard over there in overseas, because he looks like he's not even a G League player. He looks like he needs to just find a different, just somewhere, not here.
Get him on Shanghai.
43rd worst player in player efficiency rating. And he actually had not a terrible game last game. He was way lower on this list until last game. I had him, I think, at like 21st or something.
Yeah, I saw his stats last game. It wasn't as bad as previous games.
Yeah, but we'll see there. Hopefully he bounces back, can be like a 6, 7, 8th man that's consistent. I'm just wishing upon a star here. I don't see it happening. Another person I'm kind of tired of, and by kind of I mean very, is Joe Harris. We talked about him last episode, how he's the 2nd highest paid Piston right now.
Yep.
I think 2nd, which is just unreal.
Yeah.
He's making too much money to miss threes, turn the ball over, and not play defense. He's the 2nd worst player in efficiency rating. 2nd worst. He's the 2nd highest player on the team. It must be, if you pay him more money, they're bad. That must be how it works, right?
It's no, because Bogdanovich was the best player on our team last year, so I ain't going to say that.
No, I'm just kidding. But it would be nice to see him throw in a 3 or 2 or 3 since we pay him $11 million.
No more than
I
that.
think it's 11, which is crazy.
I think
my
it's
question to
more than
you
that.
is, how do we solve our point guard predicament? Is it with Cade? Is it with Jaden? Is it with Monty Morris when he comes back? Is it with Killian Hayes? Or is it somebody else?
Well, it's not Killian. It's not Killian Hayes.
What
I think
the problem is with Joe Harris is we need to put him at point guard. He needs to distribute more.
Yeah, that's true. I think our starting lineup should be Killian Hayes, Alec Burks, Joe Harris. I think those are our 3 of our starters
is a dog.
Dude, he's been drilling some threes.
He's gonna win 6th man of the year. But how do we solve this point guard predicament?
Have you met Chris Paul?
Is that guy?
Okay. Honestly, I don't know for sure. I don't know what the timetable for Bogdanovich is. Do you know when he's
projected to be back. I don't even know why. I don't even know why he's injured right now. I forget. Like I don't even know what injury he has right now. But
his
I don't
back
know.
hurts him carrying the team too much.
Yeah, from last year. It's hard to say. I think Jaden at the 1, Cade at the 2, and then Asar Thompson at the 3 is the best like starting rotation for us right now. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
What about when Donovan comes back?
It's so tough because I don't think you can bump down Thompson for the defense he's been playing this year, which is incredible, by the way.
I'm putting Bogdanovich at the 2, and I'm putting Cade at the 1.
Yeah, I think that's what it's got to be. Like, I think Jaden Ivey goes to the bench, and then Killian Hayes gets traded for
a 19th
sack
round
of
pick,
carrots,
a bag of Lay's potato chips.
Yeah.
The big thing about talking about this is we have to start limiting turnovers. Talked
Oh,
about
100%.
30th in turnover or 29th in turnovers. That's what's killing us right now. We can't turn the ball over so much. And we will see this week as the Pistons take on a big Western Conference week. We're going to transition there. They played the Thunder yesterday, lost. Wednesday, they're versus Portland at home. Thursday, they're at New Orleans. And Sunday, they're home versus the Suns. I would like to come out of the rest of the week 2-1, go 2-2 on the week. That would be okay. 3-1 would be insane. I don't know if we take Portland. Oh, we should take Portland. But I don't know if we can take Portland, New Orleans, and Phoenix. I expect us to drop either Phoenix or New Orleans. We should not lose to Portland at home.
No,
that's
we should
gonna
not.
be the big thing that determines my mood about the Pistons the rest of the week.
Oh, 100%.
Take care of business tomorrow night, Pistons. All right. Give me your thoughts on the Red Wings schedule this week. 3 pretty tough games. They had one last night against the Islanders. They pulled that one out. 2 more this week. Thursday versus the Panthers at home in LCA.
Mm-hmm.
Panthers are 4-3-1 now. 7 o'clock game time. Saturday, we're back at it against Boston. At home at LCA. Boston's 8-0-1, looking like a powerhouse team right now at 7 o'clock game. What do you expect from the Red Wings this week?
I expect us. I think we'll go 1-1. I think we take the game versus the Panthers, and I do think we end up losing again to Boston. And if we pull out a win against Boston, celebrate the Stanley Cup already because my God, does that team look incredible?
We take both these games this week.
Do you?
A Saturday night home game in LCA. That's like, if I'm Boston, I'm circling that and be like, "Yep, this is a game we have to show off, or this is a game we could lose."
Yeah.
I know the Red Wings have been looking a little bit not great recently, but I think that the first line is like DeBrincat and Larkin are just like due again. They're ready to bounce back.
They are.
We need to see them bounce back.
Yeah. And I
Lions,
think with the rest,
them. Oh, go ahead.
I think that with the rest we have coming up with these games, like we're off today, we're off tomorrow, and then we play the Panthers on Thursday. I think with the 2-game rest there, which I think that's going to be huge. I don't know if the Panthers play today or tomorrow, but I think the rest for us will be very big because just get the goalies rested up, which is a huge thing, and then having the day break again until we play Boston is huge because like any days of rest are big when it comes to hockey. But sport, any days of rest are big.
Yeah, underrated, especially for those goalies. It's underrated. Those guys go through the ringer, man. So overall, we like the Pistons take a few this week. Red Wings take a few. Don't expect too much from these two teams. They got tough schedules this week, but if they can both come out with 500 or winning records, that's a W in my book.
Oh, 100%.
Lions rest up this week, bye week. Heard Dan Campbell talk. They're going to rest up. They're going to be ready for these games coming in the next few weeks. I can't even say tough schedule. I can't realistically say that. 2 divisional games in the next 4 games, though. That's going to be huge. including a Thanksgiving game that I'm excited for. We always got to win those no matter who we play.
100%.
And introduce DPJ, baby. Welcome to
Yeah.
the squad.
Hopefully
And
he comes and balls out.
Culture in him. Yeah, that'd be nice to see. That's the schedule this week. Ben, any last thoughts?
Nope, just that we'll see you guys on Friday with our NFL picks. We'll have our player of the week and past player of the weeks.
Oh yeah, we gotta get those.
So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm pretty sure I might already have my player of the week picked out for this week, but we'll see how we play in basketball and hockey. But there's one guy on my mind that sneak peek there.
Got the same guy, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's him. But
yep.
We'll see.
Yeah.
That's it for us. Tune in Friday to hear our picks, and we are out of here. Peace.